Morning.
So Don Pannell is in studio right now. It means Riveting Radio Real Estate. Good morning.
Good morning. Feeling riveting.
Nice to
Good.
talk with you. You got a listing for us, and if you're
do.
watching the interview here when we post it later, it'll be available online. It's a beautiful plot of land on Prancer Drive in Christmas Village.
Yeah, it's actually a manufactured home on the plot of land. So it's a great little place. Christmas Village is right in town, right up by the hospital. Very centrally located. It's a over 55 park, so you do have to, meet some requirements. You have to fill out an application, that kind of thing. And you don't actually own the land. You rent the space, which is fairly common in mobile home parks. But this one is immaculate. I mean, it's very, very clean. It's a 1990s, so it's an older one, but brand new carpeting, brand new roof. Really clean. Really
Very
clean.
nice.
Yeah, and it's 2 bedrooms and a little den, which is really cool. It's got a whole wall of built-in bookshelves and that kind of thing.
Oh, you
and
gotta have those.
and the French doors, that open up into.
Love those.
It's very cool. Yeah, and then massive walk-in closet in the master bathroom. That could be another room, pretty much. Yeah, and then a master bathroom, and then another bathroom, laundry area, big kitchen with tons of storage, got cooktop, wall ovens. I mean, it's just got lots and lots of extras. And then it has 2 covered areas, one in the front as you go out, and then one in the back,
Oh, that's
where
important.
you pull into the carport, and then right ahead of you is a really nice sized covered patio area, and then a huge, could be a shop, could be storage, but it's big and it's lined with shelves, and very, very nice. And then the nice little yard, and it's everybody that I know that lives there just really likes it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
And
great.
there's a clubhouse, really nice clubhouse,
fun.
and lots of little kind of pocket park things, and it's all flat, so it's easy walking. You can have small pets. It's just very, very nice. So I would love to have folks come and take a look at it. It's a great place.
I like in the kitchen, the oven is countertop level. So you
Right.
don't have to bend over to
Right.
put anything in the oven.
Exactly. Yeah, and then
Oh,
it's got
that's nice.
it's got a nice
nice.
little
I like that.
nice little breakfast bar area, and then a nice dining room that's attached to that, and then good sized living room.
Yeah.
Plenty of room there. Lots of light coming in. So yeah, it's if you are interested in that kind of lifestyle at all, it's a great place.
Cool.
And those don't come up for sale very often.
No,
So
no.
and it's only listed for $79,900, so good price point. I think, and then the space rent is a monthly expense, but you would have that
Pretty reasonable.
in any park that you go into. But yeah, nice way to kind of downsize and have people take care of things for you, and yeah, very, very nice. So
I look forward
go
to
see it.
that.
Go see
Go-
it. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. You're right. Right. That's the hardest part. People do admit they're over 55, right? Yeah. Right.
Don, as we continue through the alphabet of real estate, we are on I, and I believe that is inspection.
Inspections.
Very
yes.
important. But I'm hearing that some folks these days, with the market the way it is, are against all advice I can understand is foregoing some of these inspections.
Right, and that is so risky.
Yeah.
I'm in the process of buying a place, and I even took my own advice and had an inspector come in. It's good insurance,
Sure.
if nothing else. So you can expect to pay anywhere from $350 up to $550, $600, depending on what you want. Most inspectors give you the option of having just a whole house inspection, or adding on, like if there's a shop, that's an extra charge.
Oh.
If you want a full pest inspection, that's usually an extra charge. So they'll give you a list of things that they will offer and what the price is for each one.
Huh.
So at the very least, I always recommend a basic house inspection, just because there's things, even if it's a clean house and ready to go and even brand new, it's good to know that all of the systems are in working order, and there's nothing that's going to be a surprise down the road. And it's been my experience that they almost always find something that's wrong.
Sure.
But even if you don't if you're not going to ask the seller to fix anything, it's still good for you as a new buyer to know these things that, and then something that might come up in the future. So if the inspector says, well, for example, the water heater looks like it's in good working order now, but it's, this age and the life expectancy of them is this. And so plan on budgeting for that sometime in the future.
It's good information to have.
Very
Yeah,
good
definitely.
information. Yeah. And I always laugh because I would pay the money to have somebody go in the crawl space because I'm not planning to
I
go
was
under.
just going to
No,
ask
not
that.
going
They
in
go
there.
under
Yeah.
there and
Yeah.
shimmy under. And,
That's the last place I'm planning to
Someone
go.
else do that.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
definitely.
they go, usually what they do is they come up and the first thing they do is go around the outside, take a look at the siding, take a look at the, if there's vegetation up next to the house, that kind of stuff. If there's any damage to the siding, then they go up on the roof and walk around, check the gutters, make sure that there's, most of the time around here they find moss.
Right.
So they let you know that. They let you know if it's terrible or if it's just a maintenance item. They check flashing around chimneys if there is one, that kind of stuff. Then they come down and go in the house and go through all of the systems. I mean, they pretty much put the house through its paces. They turn on the dishwasher, they turn on the stove, they check for, they have this really cool moisture meter that they run around. They check for moisture in the
And
floor.
that's a requirement normally.
It is.
right? Yes.
Well, it's a requirement for some lenders.
Oh,
It's
okay.
not a requirement for a buyer. I mean,
Oh.
it's only if your lender requires it, which is why folks can get away with waiving that in the interest of making it a more attractive offer to the seller. But again, what you're opening yourself up for
Yeah.
is, I even had a case, somebody was telling me not too long ago that their buyer had waived the inspection and got into the house and all of a sudden came across something that was really pretty seriously
Oh,
wrong
no.
and tried to come back then on the agent and say, how come? And the agent had to say, well, hey, you're the one that waived the inspection. I recommended
Yeah.
that you do that, but you waived it. So you're pretty much
And
on
how
your
long
own.
does an inspection take normally? you think?
Typically 2 to 3 hours.
Oh, okay.
So it's a good long thing. I always recommend that the buyer be there if they can, just because we don't want the buyer to get in the way of the inspector,
Yeah.
which sometimes happens. Unfortunately, they think they know more than the
Now
the
check
inspector.
this and
Yeah,
do that and
yeah,
do this.
and
Yeah.
that gets to be kind of a little bit of a
Yeah.
problem. But you want to be there so that you can kind of, if as the inspector comes across things, they can show you
Sure.
Yeah.
this is what it looks like. This is what you can expect.
Yeah, I don't know why anyone would waive an inspection.
Yeah, I don't either. It's just, I mean, it's
Because it could be the plumbing, it could
Yeah.
be the roof, it could, like you said, the gutters, it could be anything.
right,
so-
right. Yeah, and then they do the last thing they do is go up in the attic and then under the crawl space.
I'd be
So-
like, you take your time, Mr.
Yeah, just-
Inspector.
just
You
go look at that
over
stuff.
everything.
Yeah, and then they usually they can't do invasive things. So like they can't open up walls, of course.
Right.
They can't pull back flooring. They can't do that kind of stuff. And if the house is lived in, they're restricted a little bit because they can't move furniture,
Right.
that kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
So, but still, like I say, just for going in the crawl space, I think it's worth the money. So-
Me too.
You mentioned the moisture detectors. Do they also they bring in those FLIR infrareds to see about?
Right. Sometimes they will. Yes, they do. Like for the electrical panel, they will take a picture of the electrical panel. It'll show if there's hot spots.
Or just in general around the windows too, if there's cold spots or hot spots?
I've seen them do that. Not all of them have that, so that might be if you're interested in that, ask that they have that, because some of them do, some of them don't. But yeah, they'll check all that kind of stuff. They'll check and see if the seals are broken on the windows. They take pictures of everything. So when they're all done, they give you what's called a summary report, which is basically just the things that they saw that they thought needed to be addressed,
Right.
with pictures and descriptions. And those are all usually number coded, so that when you go back as the buyer, go back to the seller and say, well, we want this, this, and this fixed, you can reference the report
that
and
makes
say,
it-
this
makes
is
it easier.
this
Yeah.
is section 7 subset 10 or whatever it was.
Right.
Yeah. And then so you'll get that pretty quickly, and then usually the next day they will send you the complete report, which is everything that they found. And that usually, I mean, it's like a 12, 15 page report, sometimes
Wow.
more than that, depending on what. So it's very thorough. Some of the inspectors that I've worked with will also give you things like a list of what the life expectancy is for different appliances, and then they will check for recall notices for any of the appliances that you have and send you that information.
I think I still am getting my recall check emails.
Right. It's a great
from when we
thing.
got signed up, and that was years ago.
Most
6
people
years ago.
Most people don't know that stuff.
Yeah.
You know, they don't know what's recalled. One outfit that I've worked with gives you a whole binder with like envelopes to keep receipts in and tax information in. I
Wow.
mean, it's pretty neat. So for me, you get a lot for your money.
Yes.
You get, first of all, peace of mind that your house is in good shape.
Yeah.
You get somebody who is a disinterested, really third party
Right.
looking at the place. Because a lot of times, if you're in love with the house, you're kind of blind to things
Yes.
that might be wrong with it. So you want that trained third party to look
Yeah,
at
and
it.
if the water heater is going to go out, okay, I'm going to start saving.
Right,
I'll
right.
Save
Or-
up for a water heater,
Yeah.
you know.
Or if the roof is on its last legs,
Yeah.
you know, if it's not to the point where you're going to ask the seller to replace it,
Yeah.
but you know it's got another 5 years of life left,
Yeah.
and you're going to need to replace it, then you start budgeting for
Right,
that. So
exactly.
very, very
good
good
to
thing to do. I always recommend it.
Don, how can folks get in touch with you?
They can call me at 360-490-4493, or they can come see me on the corner of 3rd and Railroad. And as I say, if I'm not there, they'll know where I am.
Very
Oh,
nice.
wonderful.
Well, you have a good weekend, Don.
I will. You too.
Thanks for coming in.